In this bulletin, COVID-19 infections remain in triple digits. Fiji's test positivity nears WHO threshold and no extended lockdown across Viti level. Yandravinaka, Fiji. Fiji has recorded 279 new infections of COVID-19 in the 24-hour period ending at 8 a.m. yesterday, marking its highest single-day count since the start of the outbreak. Permanent Secretary for Health Dr. James Fong says this is a new daily record, and out of these cases, 46 are from existing containment zones or quarantine facilities in Nadi. 22 of these are from Nawaji Kuma, 8 are from Tramline, and 16 are close contacts in quarantine facilities. All 279 of these new patients are currently in isolation at home or in a facility.
The remaining 233 cases are from the Lami Nursery Containment Zone, 196 of which are from existing areas of concern. That means they are either from known clusters or they have potential link to an existing case.
The ministry has also recorded 4 deaths. This is Fiji is 0.1% away from the World Health Organization threshold of 5% of the national 7-day average daily test positivity. A 5% threshold indicates widespread community transmission. Head of Health Protection Dr. Alisha Sahukan says 7-day average daily test positivity continues an upward trend and currently stands at 4.9% as more positive cases have been recorded. 135,520 samples have been tested since this outbreak started in April this year.
And in total, since we started testing last year, 178,381 samples have been tested. 2,759 tests have been reported for June the 21st, and our national 7-day daily testing average is 2,939 tests per day, or 3.3 tests per 1,000 population, which is still a very high level of testing.
There will be no extended lockdown across Viti level despite triple-digit infections on an almost daily basis. Health officials managing Fiji's response to the second wave say this measure will not help if people refuse to adopt COVID-safe measures and make it a way of life. Permanent Secretary Dr. James Fong says their mandate is to implement targeted lockdowns in communities with positive cases. Dr. Fong adds that instead of calling for lockdowns, all Fijians need to make COVID-safe measures a way of life.
That's a broader scale discussion that requires beyond Ministry of Health discussion. What I'll say is that we continue to escalate our mitigation measures. We will continue to concentrate on issuing measures that will reduce the worst impact of the disease. And that's as far as we can go as a group of medical professionals in this fight.
75 new COVID-19 cases have been recorded in the last 24 hours in Gawia, Lami. Health Permanent Secretary Dr. James Fong says this does not include those who tested positive throughout the day. Dr. Fong says they have instituted a targeted containment program for the community after learning lessons from the previous containment programs in dealing with the new variant. He is pleading with Gawia residents and other informal settlements under containment protocols to be responsible and stay within their bubbles.
Many in our communities, including the elderly and those living with underlying health conditions, even some young people, could be killed by the virus. We have to protect these Fijians. That is our mission.
Our frontline teams are going to engage more with the Gawia community, including the community leaders, to ensure that the community understands that the containment approach is for the purpose of protecting and supporting the community, and it's not a punitive measure or penalty for their action or the response.
The Ministry of Health has highlighted the urgency for Fiji's adult population to get vaccinated as the number of COVID-19 deaths continue to increase. Permanent Secretary Dr. James Fong says this virus is a killer and the risk that it could claim more lives is huge. Dr. Fong says of the nearly 300,000 people who have received at least one dose of the COVID-19 vaccine in Fiji, there have been 0 deaths.
Every report of an adverse event that was thought to be linked to the vaccine has been thoroughly investigated. No serious ill effects have been linked to the vaccine. That is in line with the global data that shows that the risk of such an adverse event is extremely low.
The Ministry of Health fears the next progression of the COVID-19 outbreak will see more people dying and more severe cases needing hospitalization. With 4 new deaths in a 24-hour period, Head of Health Protection Dr. Alisha Sahukan says this could be the precursor to the worst effects of the pandemic. Dr. Sahukan says if the worst-case scenario comes to pass, public health facilities may not be able to cope. She adds this will deprive Fijians from receiving treatment for other non-COVID ailments and medical emergencies. Dr. Sahukan says this can be avoided if Fijians vaccinate without delay.
We've just started to see what we think is the beginning of that wave right now. We reported 4 new deaths today from COVID-19. And we have 9 patients currently admitted at CWM Hospital with severe COVID-19 disease, including a previously well 30-year-old.
The Permanent Secretary for Health says they were able to identify a positive case of COVID-19 from a family that was seeking to travel out of Viti Levu. Dr. James Fong says the family had applied for the domestic repatriation program. Dr. Fong says the family has since been entered into isolation. The Permanent Secretary says while there are many families awaiting the chance to return home, this case serves as an example of the seriousness of the risks.
Thank God that we caught this case. All it takes is one COVID-positive individual to ignite an outbreak outside of Viti Levu, a possibility that we have to avoid at all costs.
And to our latest COVID-19 update for today. There were 279 new cases in the 24-hour period ending at 8 a.m. this morning. The Ministry of Health has recorded a number of new infections in the Nandi area as well as the Lami-Nosori zone. Fiji has recorded 2,479 cases since April. There are now 1,892 active cases in isolation with 636 recoveries in total. The COVID-19 death toll stands at 11. Up ahead, good news for Sevens fans, and Team Fiji remains optimistic. Team Fiji is constantly in touch with Japanese authorities and the Olympic Games Committee in terms of player safety and well-being amidst the COVID-19 pandemic. Chef de Mission Patrick Boer says they continue to plan and follow safety protocols before and after the Games. Boer says the Fiji Sevens teams who have already confirmed a place for the Olympics has taken the lead role in ensuring they maintain their bubble.
There doesn't a day that goes by that Japan doesn't get in touch with us in regards to ensuring that we're all going to be abiding by protocols that are required to keep us all safe, COVID-19 free.
Cloudy periods with some showers over southern, eastern and interior parts of Viti Levu and Vanua Levu, Kandavu, Tabiuni, Lau and Lomai Viti group. Elsewhere, fine apart from afternoon or evening showers. That's FBC Morning News. Join us at 7 p.m. for our major bulletin. For news you can trust, get the facts from FBC's TV, radio and digital news at fbcnews.com.fj. Take care and good morning.